Osio, good evening. And I hope that your day went well and that tonight is also going well for you. I know there's many that's having their live tonight. There's a lot of people who are having their lives almost every night. But, excuse me, wanted to talk about something tonight. I'm going to try not to be on long, but we're gonna, look into something. Yes, that's right, bro. Yeah, signs, signs, everywhere signs. There's a song there somewhere. Yeah, I wanted to discuss about signs. Many people, we talk about different things, signs in the stars. Like meteors or whatever. Strange things that's going on there. And then we talk about strange things that's going here on this planet. You got more volcano activities. You got more problems with the droughts and stuff now than probably as far as recorded history goes. You hadn't had it as much and as bad as it is right now, and as what it's going to be, because it, you know, is progressing and all that kind of stuff. And wanted to catch people's thoughts, their opinions. We can agree or we can disagree, or we can just agree that we disagree. But the thing is looking at what's happening and what's going on around us on this great big earth. Oh, you about to walk the dog. I hear you there. And be careful how you going to walk your fur baby there, bro. Because there's two things that may happen, especially if you ain't got good light. All right, one thing is that you might end up running across the Bigfoot or whatever it is hanging around out there, or you might step in a doggy bomb or poo or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, that wouldn't be pleasant, to drag that in. But anyway, wanted to talk about signs, the signs of the times, what's going on. I'm not going to cover everything here tonight because I don't want to be on too long, but anyway, because everybody's got uh, things going on, got live streams, and I don't know, maybe they're having a family night or time, or getting ready to go to bed to get up in the morning to go to work. For those who still have jobs, because these days people are getting laid off left and right. Thanks to Sleepy Creepy Joe. Hey, Sleepy Creepy Joe, if you're by any chance, just by happenstance, your crew comes across this video, let me just say to you, thanks for all the situation of the economy. Yeah, you said making it better. Actually, you made it better, all right. You made it better, as in worse. I don't think there's been a standing president in history that do much damage as what you and your crew has done to this country. Yeah, but anyway, one thing I am reminded of, even though Sleepy Creepy Joe is a mess up, a wash up, however you want to say it, thing is, even though he is that, we are required to pray for our enemies, even our leaders who are our enemies, but pray for not for their destruction. You pray that, that won't happen the way you think it's going. It's going to come south and hit you on your six. That's right. So don't go there, but pray for their salvation, because all men everywhere, you know, are called to repent. You know, that we are to pray for their salvation. You know, you can still pray for his salvation and such. That is a hard thing for a lot of people, because especially when you're dealing with enemies or people that has caused so much trouble. However, you should do it. We all should. But anyway, this is not about Sleepy Creepy Joe, all right? Not on the topic tonight. But I would like to share some things with you. I surely would. And just, you can leave your comments and give us your thoughts and stuff. And all right, let me see here. There we go. All right, I first, before I show you some videos, now I want you to listen to it, all right? Now, what I'm fixing to read to you will coincide with everything tonight. All right, so here we go. Now, Yeshua, Jesus, in the 24th chapter of Matthew, said, "Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place." And then the writer says, Matthew said, "Let the reader understand." That would be us. Let us understand, which we should understand what we read and hear. Then it says, "Then those who are in Judea must flee to the mountains." Around the Judea area would be what, if I'm getting it right, sometimes I get mixed up on the geography, would cover around what they are currently calling the West Bank, around somewhere around in that region, right? Those of you who do know and understand the geographics, please leave your comments, and you can straighten me out on that. But anyway, though, that's where they're supposed to flee, in that general area, so to speak. Which that area is also known as Sumeria, as some would say. Whoever is on the housetop must not go down to get the things out that are in his house. Whoever is in the field must not turn back to get his cloak. That meaning the urgency of the time, that the situation. That's an urgency, because some people would sleep and stuff on the roof of the houses when it was warm and hot, and anyway, but woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing babies in those days. But pray that your flight will not be in the winter or on a Sabbath. For then there will be a great tribulation, such as has not occurred since the beginning of the world until now, nor ever will be, unless those days had been cut short. No life would have been saved, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. See, time has sped up more or less, right? It says, for false Christ, false Christ, and false prophets will arise, and check this out, and will show great signs and wonders so as to mislead, deceive, if possible, even the elect. Behold, I have told you in advance. But anyway, I could go on there, and I have one more thing here. If I can get this thing just right. All right, now this is in Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. So now we request you, brethren, with regard to the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering to him, that you not be quickly shaken from your composure or be disturbed either by a spirit or a message or a letter as if from us, to the effect that the day of the Lord has come. They had people popping in and saying this is that what you get. You see them. You've heard them. They say, he's coming next week or next month, or and turn around. None of that happened. But you get those type people. You catch my meaning. He says, let no one in any way deceive you, for it will not come unless the apostasy comes first. And the word apostasy, is Greek for apostasia or something like that, meaning the rebellion or the departure, departing from the faith. This is what he's talking about, departing from the faith, uh, departing from the Creator, forsaking, to rebel against, to turn away and rebel and such. And he says, for it will not come unless the apostasy comes first and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above every so-called God or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, displaying himself as being God. Now, remember, he says, let no one in any way deceive you, because you got many, even here on YouTube, other platforms that will. It's not that they're per se that they're deliberately with the intent, like, I'm going to deceive them, but they themselves are deceived or misinformed, confused, or however you want to say it. They're confused about the times, which is talked about in the book of heaven. All right. But he says, for it will not, that day would not come unless the apostasy comes first and the man of lawlessness, the Antichrist, is revealed, the son of destruction. And it tells you how you're going to know all this. Well, who he will oppose him, opposes God's word. He opposes truth. He will exalt himself above every so-called God, all these idols and what other, and or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, displaying as being God. Now, a lot of people uh, fail to realize that I think I mentioned this to you before. Excuse me. About the times. I mentioned about keeping eyes on Israel. All right. Now, what is interesting is there is things going on in Israel that most people don't realize is happening because it's not being really covered in mainstream media. All right. Now, this is foretold. Even you go in the Old Testament, it's all foretold about a third temple to be built. All right. And Jesus talked about it, and so didn't the apostles. But even the prophets of long ago did. Uh, you have all kinds of stuff going on. All right. Now, with everything that's going on right now and building up and the political things that's happening in Israel, making agreements, contracts, or whatever, making agreements with the having a Palestinian state, being a two-state thing, and about they're already planning it, got it all planned and everything to build the third temple. They have everything ready. They even got red calves and everything. But what I'm gonna show you some videos, all right? And with what I just read and what we were just talking briefly here on, want to take a look and let you hear about what's going on, okay? What is happening, uh, and considering with what you're fixing to hear, with what I just read to you, all right, that third temple, and about the Antichrist man, he will set himself up as a god, and he has a false prophet, to proclaim him and all this kind of stuff and everything. So, um, keeping that in mind, and also not to mention you got the Euphrates rivers drying up. Now, some of you are already familiar somewhat with the Bible prophecy about that. Everything the Bible, the Book of Heaven, has talked about is happening. It has happened and is happening, and there's more to come. Okay? So, with what you're fixing to hear and what we're fixing to talk about, it gives you something to think about. All right? So, here we go with the first one.
Just celebrated a once-in-a-lifetime event, the return of the red heifer. Not just once in a lifetime, but for the first time in almost 2,000 years. Their return was met with euphoria, celebration, raised eyebrows, and even criticism. Some said it is a sign that the end times are upon us, as the Temple Institute continues preparations to lay the ground for the construction of the third temple in Jerusalem.
Now, you heard that, right? You heard it. Please, I'm asking you, not commanding you. You're not in any obligation to do so, but I'm asking you, please listen to all of this. This is very important. Some of you are kind of aware of we might be, I mean, in your minds, you might be thinking we might be in the last days, but I'm not going to worry about it or whatever, etc. I don't know what your thinking is on all this, but I just want to bring it to you, yours and all of our attention on what's going on in Israel. Keep your eyes open. See for yourself what's going on, all right? Please watch and listen.
We have a lot to talk about this. What does a red heifer have to do with rebuilding the Holy Temple? How could a simple animal play a vital role in the success or failure of such a monumental event? What's the significance of the realization of a few verses in Numbers that we've read, but never had to see happen until now? Watch till the end as you answer all these questions and many more.
Now, when you're talking about Numbers, you're talking about in the Old Testament, the book of Numbers. Hey, Osio, Standing Bear, Osio. Welcome there, bro. Welcome. Always good to have you in and on any of these live streams. Yeah, always. Oh. But anyway, I'm going to let you hear the rest of this. This is important. People need to keep their eyes on Israel with what's going on. This is very important. Our souls, everyone's souls, are at stake if we, especially, are not watching and seeing what's going on, and if we do not take a self-examination of our own selves, right? But anyway, listen to this.
When 5 red heifers arrived in Israel the week of September 12, 2022, a big excitement resonated across the globe.
Danny went to go walk his dog. I think he'll be back in a little bit there, bro.
Spotless red heifers were bred and transported by Christian farmers in Texas and handed to the Temple Institute in Jerusalem. Jewish rabbis examined and certified the heifers. A crowd of around 300 people greeted the entrance of these 5 red heifers. The shofar, a horn used in Jewish rites, was blown by one person. The red heifers have been placed on a farm near Haifa. What made this event so thrilling? What is the purpose of red heifers in Israel? Every few years, a red heifer, red cow, is born in Israel, leading some to believe that Jesus' return is imminent. Why is this the case? What does a red heifer have to do with the end of the world? Before we get into that, it's important to understand the importance of a red heifer in the Bible. Saints have been thinking about Christ's return, his second advent, since the Apostle Paul's epistle to the Thessalonian church in AD 51. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse.
Which that was one of the there in Thessalonians. I read the 2nd Thessalonians, but here's in. I'll let them read. I'll shut up now.
Verses 13 through 18. Some Christians place a premium on everything they believe will happen around the time of Christ's return. Their eschatological views are defined by several signs and prophecies from their Bible interpretation. The arrival of pristine red heifers announces a 2,000-year-old occurrence. Orthodox Jews who want to rebuild the Third Temple and reintroduce the Old Testament sacrifice system need crimson heifers in order to restart ceremonies. Some Christians believe that the biblically specified perfect red heifer symbolizes more than that. It heralds the end of the age. What is the Bible's take on red heifers? Numbers chapter 19 verses 1 through 10 gives God's instruction to Moses and Aaron about red heifers, red female cows. The Israelites were to bring a blemish-free cow that had never borne a yoke. Unlike previous gifts given inside the camp, the priest Eleazar had to slay the red heifer outside the camp. Eleazar was then instructed to take some of its blood with his finger and sprinkle it 7 times in front of the gathering tent. Numbers chapter 19, verse 4. At that moment, the whole red heifer, including its manure, would be burnt in front of Eleazar. Along with the red heifer, the priest would then add cedar wood, hyssop, and crimson yarn to the fire. The why of the scarlet yarn or wool is a mystery. The supervising priest would only return to the camp after bathing and washing his garments. He would be filthy until the evening. Similarly, whomever burnt the red heifer was required to wash his garments, bathe, and stay unclean until dusk. The ashes of the red heifer were subsequently retrieved by a clean man and deposited in a clean area outside the camp. The ashes are then to be retained by the Israelite community for use in the water of purifying. It is a purification from sin according to the Bible, Numbers chapter 19, verse 9. The person who collected the ashes would have to wash his garments and would be unclean until sunset. This will be a permanent ordinance both for the Israelites and the foreigners dwelling among them. The Lord stated, Numbers chapter 19, verse 10. Once the Israelites had appropriately preserved the red heifer's ashes, they would utilize them to purify unclean individuals. Numbers chapter 19, verses 11 through 22.
Now that's why, people don't really understand the significance of these red calves, which these perfect calves without any kind of blemish or of any kind. They have never been worked at all. These calves have never had any kind of ear tags or anything like that on them. And it's very significant, all right? It's necessary to have the red calves. Oh, hey, you have a good night there, bro. You have a very good night there, bro. You have a good night, Daily. Daily Dan. Danny Staten. Hey, all right, you take care, bro. Y'all go out and check his channel out, the Daily Dan blog, and his other channel, Danny Staten. Check him out and show him some love, all right? Now, on the significance of these red calves, it is necessary in order to have a third temple. Now, to some might find this a little boring. Trust me, it's going to get more interesting. Especially with you seeing everything that's going on today in the world, all right, and everything that's happening. If you keep your eyes on Israel, you will fully understand the signs of the times. And the third temple is a necessary thing in order for God's holy word, the Creator, His word has to be fulfilled. And it mentions about a son of perdition, or as everyone knows him as the Antichrist. He will enter into the temple and proclaim himself to be a god. Well, he will try to say that he is the God. Many people will be deceived. But anyway, you have to have this temple for that to happen. And here we already got Israel. They got everything ready. They have all the necessary equipment and building blocks and everything to build that third temple. All right, and all they needed was the red calves. Now they got the red calves. So, all right, I'll let them go on.
Describes a significant method for someone to become unclean, touching dead corpses, as well as how to mix the ashes with clean flowing water and sprinkle the mixture with hyssop on the individual to be cleansed. What is the purpose of red heifers in Judaism? According to the Jewish learning, the Hebrew phrase for red heifer is para aduma, and the ashes of the red heifer are utilized for cleansing ceremonies. Most Orthodox Jews still want to do this purifying procedure. The lines in Numbers detailing the ceremony are included in the last reading of the Shabbat Para, the Sabbath of the red heifer, in the modern-day Torah reading. The Sabbath of the red heifer falls on the final Shabbat of Adar, just before Passover. The most recent Sabbath of the red heifer occurred on March 25, 2022. The next one will take place on March 10, 2023. Anyone entering the temple must be clean, since spiritual purity is so important in the Old Testament. According to the Jerusalem Post, these purifying requirements indicate that Orthodox Jews will need red heifers before they can construct the third temple. They strive to follow the Lord's words to the letter as their dream of building the third temple comes true. Do red heifers have end-time importance? For Christians who believe in the premillennial interpretation of eschatology, the arrival of even one rabbi-approved red heifer in Jerusalem implies the rapture is nigh. They believe that during the end times, a third temple will be erected, after which all other predicted events will occur. The advent of the red heifer heralds the approach of the Messiah, according to Judaism. According to one Jewish tradition, the Messiah only mentions non-completely red heifers used between the period of the Tabernacle and AD 70, when Roman soldiers destroyed the Second Temple. The arrival of a probable 10th flawless red heifer raises hopes for the Messiah's coming and the reconstruction of the temple. The 10th animal, according to Jewish philosopher Maimonides, would only be located and sacrificed when King Messiah was ready to emerge. Observant Jews look forward to the fulfillment of Ezekiel chapter 36, verses 25 through 26, known as the Haftarah. According to adherents, this scripture discusses God's purification, a cleanse from human depravity. According to this interpretation, God will shower clean water on them to cleanse them of their sins before giving them a new heart and a new spirit. This regeneration of the individual and the country embraces the Passover idea of redemption in Judaism. There are four primary branches of contemporary Judaism. While Reformed and Reconstructionist Jews try to modernize Judaism by reinterpreting the Torah and other Judaistic traditions, conservative Jews adopted practically everything of the Torah. Orthodox Jews take it a step further, insisting on ancient rites as far as they can be followed in contemporary society. The absence of a temple in Jerusalem restricts the extent to which traditional rites may be done. The original temple, built by King Solomon, was destroyed during the Babylonian invasion. When King Darius allowed Jews to return to Judea, Ezra and Nehemiah detail the construction of the Second Temple. The temple remained until the Romans demolished it, thanks to minor modifications by Herod the Great. As we await the prophesied Messiah, Orthodox Jews are in the forefront of efforts to build the Third Temple in Jerusalem. These activities involve creating temple plans, creating temple instruments and furnishings, and identifying Levi priests. All of these components are now in place. The priests are undergoing training from the Nezer HaKodesh Institute of Quranic Studies. Many Jews turn to Haggai, whose author was engaged in the building of the Second Temple, for their assurance of peace after the temple was completed. Haggai chapter 2, verse 9. Even with the arrival of the 5 red heifers, issues might arise. Some Orthodox Jews believe that the sacrifices cannot take place until the ashes from the original red heifer are mingled in with the fresh ashes. Others point out that the Temple Institute previously believed it had spotless red heifers, yet those heifers acquired flaws. Anything less than flawless will be rejected. Furthermore, the red heifer must be sacrificed before the animal reaches its 3rd year. So if the 5 Texas-raised red heifers mature with even one hair of a different hue, the thrill will fade. Even if the heifers pass inspection and are utilized, Orthodox Jews want the new temple to be built in the same location as the old one. Unfortunately, as has been argued several times, the Muslim Al-Aqsa Mosque rests directly on the site where Solomon's temple is said to have stood. Jews who want the 3rd temple constructed believe that their Messiah King will come to reign after the temple is finished. The issue is, where will it go? Premillennial Christians believe that the completion of the 3rd temple, whenever and wherever it is constructed, heralds the arrival of the end times. The ash of the red heifer commandment in the Bible is an interesting topic. Consider this. The ashes of the sin sacrifice were mixed with fresh spring water. One of the first things to notice is the need for water as a purification agent. According to Numbers, chapter 19, verse 17, the ashes were to be placed in clean spring water, and the water is still a symbol utilized in churches today, not just for baptisms, but a laver of consecrated water at the entry of the sanctuary in certain faiths. The laver served as a reminder in the Old Testament that purification is required before approaching God.
So I mean, you see the importance of what's going on, why the red heifers and everything, why they need it. And yes, the situation with the Al-Aqsa Mosque being in the way, but whether through the peace treaty that happens for the two-state agreement, the Jewish state and the Palestinian people's state and all that kind of stuff. All right, it can go in several different directions. Either they come to an agreement that that the Jews has full control of the uh, Temple Mount, or or that with they've been having problems, talking about earthquakes and other things, tremors and stuff, and all that. Uh, Perhaps that will destroy the mosque, and along with the agreement and all this, the Jews will be able to build the third temple. However, it works out, we can figure right now, probably most likely within a year. Remember, they're on a different calendar system than us, but within a year, anyway, um, they will begin to build. So we will get to the fun privilege, more or less, on seeing how this works out and how it happens. Uh, and it's one of the signs on, the second coming of Yeshua, Jesus. See, now a lot of people kind of miss that, but they don't understand what's so great about the temple. We're not required to go into animal sacrifice. Well, all right, first of all, we're Gentiles, they are Jews, and the building of that temple is necessary in order for the word that was spoken by the Creator about that temple where the Antichrist man will make his appearance in, and then he will start proclaiming himself to be a god, or he will proclaim to be the God. He's the only one. That's what he will proclaim. But remember, we're looking at last day events, signs, like in the heavens or around on this planet and things. That's things that are going on. All right, I want you to listen to this. Now, I mentioned before, all right, about a there in Israel, they have a fella that they called the Messiah, and he has been healing people. Now, I cannot say, definitely, I cannot say that he is the Antichrist or he is the false prophet. But if anything, he would fit more in the category of the false prophet, which would make sense. Like John the Baptist was the forerunner of Yeshua, Jesus. All right. So this one will be, if he is the false prophet, which it would only make sense because he is performing miracles and all this. Well, that he would be not a pope, but this guy, because remember, this is a Jewish temple, a Jewish state, and ain't gonna be no pope in there. But every one of us has our own opinions and thoughts on it. But however, I want to let you hear about this, and you can draw your own conclusions, all right? And here we go.
It's been fraught with a lot of unrest, natural disasters, pandemics, and growing signs of war keep insinuating the fact that the end times are upon us. Historically, it's not uncommon for people to seek a deeper meaning to these events, or cling even tighter to religious accounts for an understanding of these trying times. In light of this, there's been information on the internet recently about a young rabbi who some claim has been appointed and accepted as the new Messiah by the older rabbis and the Orthodox Jewish Society in Israel. He has even been tagged as a Messiah by throngs of religious people. However, his every move has also sparked a lot of controversies, and in this video, we will look at religious texts that will reveal shocking truths that show he might be a false prophet. The young rabbi in question is named Shlomo Yehuda Bieri, and he is honored with the title Yanaka in relation to his mastery of the religious text.
By the way, just a little FYI, Shlomo in Hebrew means Solomon. You know, and supposedly he is a descendant of David, or he's from, well, anyway, he's from the tribe of Judah, this Shlomo fellow. Okay, and now his parents, or no, his great grandparents and stuff had came, though they were Jews, but they came from Assyria. And another time we'll go into that about why that's important, you know. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that little tidbit in. All right, here we go.
Theologically, the idea of the Son of God, personified in the persona of a kid or youngster, is closely related to the Zoharic Yanaka figure. So because Yehuda was able to recite the heart of the Torah and other sacred Jewish religious texts from an early age, he was likely supposed to invoke the figure of Jesus in various ways, given his discursive and symbolic contexts in which the Yanaka functions. At just a little over 30, Yehuda has demonstrated astounding knowledge of the Torah, the Talmud, the Zohar, the Ari, and numerous more works by Tzaddik. He provides precise page and paragraph references during his presentations. He is allegedly also very humble, and there are several unverified accounts of the wonders he performs with his blessings. However, speculations of him being the Messiah began when a video on the Punta Breslov channel purported that the coronavirus pandemic heralded the coming of the Messiah. The host of Punta Breslov then played a film of Rabbi Shlomo Yehuda visiting the Western Wall to highlight the current religious zeal sweeping most of Israel. Some Christian viewers believed that Shlomo Yehuda was being anointed as the Messiah because of the theme of the episode and the pictures of him being lauded by senior rabbis. However, the individuals who made this assumption later produced videos in which they explained what they believed the video's creator meant. The Punta Breslov segment expanded on how King Hezekiah, son of David, is revered in Orthodox Judaism as the ideal messianic candidate. But once more, some Christian viewers misunderstood and associated the name with Shlomo Yehuda. As previously mentioned, he was given the title of Yanaka for his prodigious exploits since he was a child. And whilst the title may not be commonly bestowed, it doesn't quite qualify someone as the Messiah. Plus, the assertion that Yehuda is the Messiah chosen by the Orthodox Jewish community is challenged by the fact that not even Orthodox Jews news outlets, who would be more eager to cover the subject than their Christian counterparts, have come forward to claim so. And while one might wonder what made the older rabbi swoon for him, well, he is, after all, also a well-known rabbi and a brilliant prodigy. Orthodox Jews frequently kiss the hand of a teacher or colleague rabbi who they admire and show deference to, including senior rabbis. And Shlomo Yehuda is highly regarded among individuals who were shown into the Punta Breslev video clip. The clincher occurred when the Punta Breslev host clarified the confusion in an English language video, emphasizing that neither he nor any other rabbi was proclaiming Shlomo Yehuda Berry to be the Messiah, and thus investigations regarding the video showing him at the Western Wall began, and it came to light that it was shot at the yearly ceremony that kicks off the counting of the Omer during the week leading up to Passover. The holy location was crowded because of this, and Rabbi Shlomo Yehuda was not the focus of any special celebration. To get a clearer understanding of the Bible's description of the one true Messiah, we look to the Old Testament prophecies, as we can see from a comparison of them to the New Testament that.
And let me just add here, also there in New York, one of the prestigious, excuse me, prestigious Jewish rabbis had posted posters around the city stating that the Messiah is here. Thought I would just throw that in. Of course, we know who the real Messiah, which in translated like into Greek would be Christ, right? But we know who the real Christ is, the Messiah.
Jesus Christ, who was born of a virgin and is the biological son of King David of Israel, is the real Messiah. The writings of the Bible claim that Jesse, the father of David, was the biological ancestor of the Messiah. The biblical book of Acts, verse 13, confirms that Jesus is descended from David's father, whereas Luke 3 links Jesus' biological ancestry to David and Jesse. The texts further say that the Messiah will exercise authority through the Holy Spirit, as according to the Gospel of John, Jesus performed his earthly ministry through the power of the Holy Spirit. The biblical book of Isaiah, verse 11, chapter 4, then goes on to state that intense judgment will characterize Messiah's governmental authority, when the book of Revelations, verse 19, chapter 20, further integrates that the Antichrist will be banished into the lake of fire for all eternity when Jesus comes back, where he will endure day and night agony. According to more biblical texts, during the rule of a genuine Messiah, animals will once again be entirely domesticated. The only person who has been able to do this so far in recorded history has been Jesus. It occurred when Jesus instructed the apostles to get a wild, unbroken donkey before he made his triumphal entry into Jerusalem. He rode the animal without incident from the eastern side of the Mount of Olives, up and over the Mount of Olives, through the Kidron Valley, up the opposite side, and into Jerusalem. He immediately altered the animal's nature, displaying his ability to tame all creatures when he is in control. These accounts from the Bible speak of the Messiah's lineage, authority, and even power of wild animals, as they are made to tame, all of which have clearly been shown not to correlate with Shlomo Yehuda, thus disclaiming the rumors of him being the Messiah. In addition to describing the Messiah, the Bible further warns about a false prophet that will rise and seek to lead Christians astray. It is also predicted that millions of people will be duped by a fake prophet who performs impressive miracles. Jesus also particularly cautioned his followers to be on the lookout for a monstrosity of desolation in the last days. And as stated in the letters to the Thessalonians, the great false prophet who would stand in the holy places is foreseen by the Apostle Paul. Thus, the Apostle admonishes Christians to not be fooled by anybody, for that day will not come unless the falling away occurs, and the man of sin, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. According to Revelation, chapter 13, verses 13 through 14, the great false prophet will deceive millions of people throughout the world. and perform tremendous wonders, including calling down fire from heaven, but asks that Christians not let these miracles and signs fool them. Thessalonians verse 5 chapter 21 goes further to support this point, stating that we test all things, holding fast to what is good, as the Bible commands. From all that, as is said, it can be noted that for there to be sacrifices to be stopped, it must first start, and the Jews have not made any animal sacrifices since 70 AD, after the Romans destroyed the temple in Jerusalem. It is also of great significance to know that there are 5 red heifers present in Israel currently, and they are getting ready for sacrifices in the temple, which line up with the prophecies Jesus spoke about. Seeing as these events are all occurring in this period and around one man, it is understandable why Shlomo Yehuda Be'eri is associated by most with being the likely Messiah of today's age. The behavior of people and rabbis around him, though not factual, seems to do nothing but push the narrative. It is seen in the fact that people who Shlomo has performed miracles on do not attribute their healing to God, but instead give credit to him. This kind of behavior and turn of events thus paints him as the speculated false prophet warned of in the Bible. Though likely in significance, some people have drawn attention to his ability to play music, which is likened to Satan's ability to play musical instruments in his creation for the worship of God. Others speculate that he might embody either side of the Messiah's characteristics, which could be the priestly side, which embodies authority. This group of people believe in 2 Messiahs. They believe Jesus fulfilled the first, but they reject God's whole message and turn to Talmud, Kabbalah, and other man-made traditions instead. Therefore, they anticipate both a religious and a militaristic Messiah, and think Shlomo Yehuda could be either. However, the assumption is that all of this is inaccurate without consulting the Bible. But it's understandable, considering that Jesus warned in Matthew chapter 24, verse 4, that even the elect would be deceived by those who came in his name and claimed to be the Messiah. This may appear to be a minor issue, but misguided information does nothing but spread hatred toward the Jewish people through rumors. It also deceives many believers with false signs of the times during the very season in which we remember the victims of the Holocaust, and at the same time that Jesus rose from the dead and was walking, talking, eating, fellowshipping with his disciples, and performing signs and wonders before his ascension. In light of all this, Christian leaders urged Christians to pray for the removal of the spirit of deception from the body of Messiah, and for the Word of God to become so deeply ingrained in them that when the Holy Spirit guides, they can easily determine whether or not a rumor or assumption is in line with the Scripture, and whether or not they are acting as Jesus' ambassadors.
Now, we sit there and we see what's going on there, right? That's why you need to be looking, keeping your eyes on Israel, but also being aware of what's going on elsewhere, like in Europe and here in this country, over in the Orient and such. Keep your eyes open. But the thing is, we have all kinds of stuff going on because the Bible talks about famine and pestilences and plagues and things, right? Well, yeah, throughout world history, throughout time, we have had that, but we've never had it to this extent, and this famine is worldwide. And you got some food shortages, and it's getting worse. You got lakes and rivers and places and stuff here in this country, overseas, and the Euphrates River and stuff. Places are drying up. Probably the ones you should also look for, and it is mentioned in the Old Testament. I think Jeremiah or Isaiah, about the Nile River drying up. So, I mean, I could go on all tonight in on that, but I wanted to talk about signs that's going on, about what does that mean for us. Well, now I have my opinions and thoughts on it, and you have your thoughts and opinions. Now, what we should consider is that, yes, according to the book of heaven, we are in the last of the last days, that we have just entered into the tribulation, as what is written. Now I know someone's going to disagree with me, and that's okay. I mean, we are all filled with our thoughts and opinions. All right, but see, most, not all, I have the opinion or thoughts that when we before the tribulation hits, that you're going to be raptured out. Now, I believe in a rapture, or that means to be caught away. The Bible talks about being caught up, a catching away, which means rapture. But anyway, I believe in that, but not in the way most talk about it, because there's even Yeshua, spoke about when the times will come, and and Apostle Paul, and so you're not gonna. So you might as well forget about getting taken out before a tribulation. Uh, Tribulation means trouble. Trouble. Okay, that's what it means. A lot of people don't think about the word, but that's what it means. Trouble. And we will experience such. And this tribulation, think of it like this: it's a testing ground. To separate, in other words, we would say, probably liken it like this: it's to show and to separate the men from the boys, the women from the girls, from the sheep from the goats, that type of thing. So we see all these signs, and the stuff that's going on and stuff. I mean, Christians are being now more targeted than ever in this country. No, Christians have been targeted in China and India and places, and they still undergo persecution. Their lives are at stake. But in this country, we have had it so good that people, you know, uh, if they was really put to the test, they would fail. Some, and I'm talking about those, especially those who refer to themselves as Christians, because you'll know them for sure, uh, for what they are. Truly, if they are legitimate Christians, you're going to know it under those circumstances, beyond the shadow of a doubt. Well, it talks about a great falling away. Never in history have we have entered into such a falling away from God, the Creator, a falling away from the faith. Now you got a lot of fake churches. What do they call them? Mega churches, and all this. And the reason why they got so many people in there, it's not because they're preaching what Christ taught. They're not teaching the Bible. They're teaching something else, and it's more entertainment than anything. And as long as nobody is hearing the truth and they're being entertained, well, they're going to go there. But and they call themselves Christians. But the time will come where all of us, we will all know who's who. Yeah, that one's a Christian, or that one's just a phony baloney who is a Judas or whatever you want to call them. But we are entering into that time. And now I'm just sharing here, right? And trying to discuss, talk about it. Maybe there's something that you know that I don't, or that I have missed, or you would like to share anything. Please do. I got the link there in the chat. You can come up on a panel if you want. Talk about the videos we had just seen. You want to talk about the third temple that the Jews will be building. You can talk about the red heifers. You can talk about that guy, that uh, Shlomo Yehuda, which Yehuda means in English Judah. Of course, Yehuda is Hebrew, meaning it's Judah. You know. So anyway, that guy. Uh, what do you think? Do you think he is the Antichrist, or do you think he is the false prophet? Now, me personally, I think he's the false prophet that the uh, Book of Heaven there in throughout the Bible talks about. Okay, I mean that dude he's actually performing miracles. Now you get people today think anytime there's miracles go on, that's God. God's here. You if they see an image, or something, like a stain on a wall or something that may look like some painting, famous or well-known painting of Christ, of Yeshua, Jesus, they'll start worshiping it, whoa, 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 But the thing is, you're not supposed to be going. We're not supposed to be going after uh, any Tom, Dick, and Harry and Jane and Rhonda and whoever to go be looking for the seeing their miracles. Yeah, exactly there, bro. Because you got a lot of these stuff. I mean, yeah, they can perform miracles, actual miracles. But just because they're doing it, it don't mean that they have the real power of God. Yes, some do. And then a lot don't. A lot, man. And then there's the good amount of them today. The majority of the miracles is not real miracles. It's staged. That's right, bro. That's right. Absolutely. We have to be aware of what's going on. All right. So if you know about all these things that the Bible, the Book of Heaven, talks about, and you, only you can answer the question for your own self. But if you see all these things, knowing what the Book of Heaven talks about, and you seeing it all take place, and your spirit, your heart is not made right with Him, you're in a dangerous place. It's not a good place to be. But as a tidbit, before we go on about signs and all that, Oh, excuse me. Been drinking soda. Um, People will think by just doing a good deed, and stuff, being good, that alone's going to get them in, or maybe that they was raised up in. I'm not trying to pick on any denominations here or anything, but I'm just giving an example, all right? Because they've been in a Catholic church, born, raised, and they've been baptized in a Catholic church. That assures them right there. Because that's not, I don't care what those priests have said or what Popey Boy says, that's not in there in the book of heaven. You cannot allow or rely on what others say, not on me or on others about the book of heaven. For like to rely on my interpretation alone. I mean, I could accidentally get off on something and be wrong. It's like a lot of these men out there that are like preachers and stuff. I don't care what their denomination is, but they can be wrong. And people are just like, well, I don't need to read the Bible. That guy knows it. Well, they may know it. They may not know all of it. And they may just not know it at all. And all they're in it for is the money. But the thing is, with all this stuff going on, you're going to know who is who is real, who is not. There has to be a testing. How are we any different from those like in the days of the apostles, going from their time going forward to our present time? All through history, there are those who gave their life that was persecuted, tormented, tortured, killed for him. You know, yeah, you've had a lot of false people doing bad things in his name. And the thing is, they never even knew him in the first place. And we all say can know, even people that not going to church and stuff can all say the same thing: is that ain't right. That's not Christian. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Oh, because we got to understand this. It is good. Even the Book of Heaven talked about the necessity of fellowship. Like going into church. Now, church does not necessarily mean a building. Actually, the church is the people. You can have the church in a field. You can have it in a barn, in your house, or wherever, out in the woods, in the mountains. Ah, I hear you. Oh yeah, a hole, a hole. Now, I personally don't believe in telling people how to pray. I try to tell people like this, who people who actually don't know how to pray, right? I don't give them words to speak. Like when they say the sinner's prayer. Me, I believe it like this. All right, prayer is communication. You're communicating, like when you pray to him, you're talking to him, just like when you talk to me or I'm talking to someone or whatever, whether on the phone or in person. I'm talking, I'm communicating. They are. And you got to go to him like the way you would, like if you were going to talk to your brother, your father, your mother, and just be open. That's all it is. You got to. That's right. You said it, Standing Bear. You got that right. Oh, wado, bro. Wado. You said it. Yeah, we have just entered into this time. There's a lot taking place. There's a lot in that book that some of you know or know a part of it because you might have been away from all that for a long time and forgot a lot. But and some may not even know it at all and just rely on other people's interpretation and view. You got to know it for yourself. And I challenge anybody that's listening, and I hope you put a thumbs up and share this, all right? But it's just like this. You got to know for yourself what the book of heaven says. There's a lot in there. A lot of people go on a rant about it, and I don't even know anything about it because they rely on others. Maybe they hadn't been to church since they were little bitty kids or whenever. Or they allow, like in my case, I ended up having, where people, I got my eyes off of him and I got my eyes on the people and the things around me, situations and stuff, to where it pulled me away from him. But it took all these things in situations in my life and everything. It just well, I hit the wall, and it's kind of like picture someone running, got their head down, hitting the wall, and they're staggering around like, oh, well, spiritually speaking, that was what had happened to me. I had to, wake up, smell the coffee, see the writing on the wall. I mean, with all the signs around, I ain't taking no chances, you know. And but the thing is, there's so much going on around us, right? We see it. Now, like I said, we all have different views on the last days and stuff, but the one thing you must agree on and can't deny is that we are absolutely in the last of the last days, spoken of by the prophets, by Yeshua, and by the apostles. Now, I personally have a problem. I believe that there are true, and I will explain myself here. I believe there are true prophets in the world today, of prophets of the Creator, right? But you're not going to hear them call themselves prophets. They're not going to advertise it like some of these shenanigans, these idiots. I call them idiots because they're fools. And if I'm wrong in saying that, then I ask for forgiveness. But they're fools for calling themselves the prophet so and so. It's one thing when others call them that, but when a person starts taking that title, oh well, I'm prophet Isaiah or prophet Zeke or whatever, or that one claims to be prophetess Sahara or whatever. Or they claim that I'm Apostle John, I'm Apostle DeWitt, and on and on and on. Okay, they can't be apostles because they didn't see Christ personally. I mean, in person, and he did not in person bestow that on them. But that's a whole different subject altogether. We'll get off of that. But I'm trying to get at the point is you got false prophets, you got false people out there who bestow upon their own selves titles which they have no right to. And they should be ashamed of themselves. You know, because we're in that time where, man, it's dangerous to be playing around with your soul. It really is. You know, let's face it. When we get into sin, we enjoy it because it's pleasurable. Anyone says it isn't, they're wrong, dead wrong. But see, that's the problem. Is we make wrong choices in our lives. For each one, it's different. But but the thing is, we all have, and some still do make bad choices, bad decisions. And I cannot tell anybody that you're going to hell or to another, hey, that one over there is going to hell. Now, I can't make that judgment call. That's not mine. That's his. Now, Bible's, it don't contradict itself. It says to judge and to not judge. Basically, let's sum it up this. What Yeshua talks about on that is that you can make a judgment call as in on how we say a right decision. I'll get that word out. Or for example, and I'm just giving an example. Let's say you go to a fruit tree, all right, and maybe it's an apple tree, maybe it's a peach tree, whatever, and you grab the fruit and you look at it and it's got rot and it's got worms, and you look and you notice almost all those fruits is spoiled, it's bad. So you could say that's a bad fruit tree. Why? Because you see the fruits are bad. Well, the same if you sit there and watch and you see someone, you can tell if they're a bad person or how we would say good, because their fruits, their actions tell on themselves. You get a lot of that. People tell on themselves and they don't know it, and they get mad if someone says, "You're not right," because you look at what you're doing. And they're doing these things. They're actually doing them. They're bad things, well, which is that tree, that person, that tree has bad fruit on them, you know. And so that's one kind of judgment. It's not condemning them. We have no right to condemn another person. I don't. You don't. None of us do. Though sometimes we end up forgetting about that and end up doing it. And we should never do that. But the thing is, what I'm getting at is with everything around that's going on, should make us wake up, be aware of not just what's around us, but our own souls, our own spirit. So you ask yourself, is it well with me and him? And knowing for sure, because you may think, you got to know. Don't think, but know if it's made right between you and him. And the way the Bible talks about it, being born again. Now, you got people throw denominations out. Well, I don't care if you're Pentecostal, you're Baptist, Protestant, Catholic, whatever. Ain't none of them going to heaven. You say, well, what do you mean by that? That don't sound right. No, what I'm meaning is the only ones, don't matter what denomination they are in, what I'm getting at is the title Pentecostal, Baptist, or Church of Christ, or Catholic, Protestant, Episcopal, or whatever. That's not going to get you into heaven. According to the book of heaven, is being, as it describes it, being born again, being made right with Him. That's what I'm getting at. Um, you know, we have to come to that conclusion at some point or time about ourselves, but how is it between us and Him? So it's a good thing is that we need to take a look at what's going on. Yeah, we've always had storms, in this country, and of course other countries too. But we have had more and worse storms than in any time or part of in recorded history. And we see everything is going on. There's more sightings of UFOs. There is more sightings of the paranormal, of spirits, and more demonic possessions, and like one has never seen before throughout the world's history. I mean, it was bad back in those days, yes, a long time ago, before any of us was born. But it is a lot worse now. I mean, you look at what these wokeism, you got all these different agendas uh, being pushed, the socialism, communism, and it's coming to a point. It's all coming to that one point, and are seeing it. A lot of us would never think to see what we are seeing today. We see more evil going on than we have ever seen especially in this country's history. So, with these signs, you know, it makes you stop and wonder. Is it well with my soul? Is it all right? Because let's face it, I know a lot of you, maybe not all, but a lot of you believe that there is a heaven and there is a hell. And our decisions, wrong or right, could cause us to go to one place or the other. Depending on what it is, our decisions can help lead us to heaven or to hell. I mean, because God had always, through history, a lot of people, God, doom and gloom, I ain't going to serve Him because He sends people to hell. No, we send our own selves there. He just gives us a choice. Like, say, two siblings, right? Two siblings, two brothers, kids, right? A parent will show them, uh, maybe, let's say, two toys, right? One's broken and busted, but it at one time looked like it had been a cool toy, and then the other one looks like brand new, never been used. So he gives them a choice. Which one do you want? Okay, you too there, bro. You have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for dropping in, Standing Bear. Love you, bro. Still praying for you and Lisa. Love you both. Oh, have a Merry Christmas. Okay, but you have these kids making a decision. Now, is it forced on them? No. So one has to make the choice. Now, if the one chooses the bad toy and then starts complaining, saying it's the father's fault, the parents' fault, right? Well, is it like they had a choice and they're jealous because the other one has a good toy? Well, that one made his choice and that one over here made their choice. So we have to make a decision. But I would like your take in, leave in the comments below about about the red heifers and what's going on there in Israel, and the building of the third temple, and this Shlomo Yehuda. What's your thoughts and views on it? What's your take and stuff on everything that's going on? Now, like I said, we can agree or we can disagree. I mean, because we all have our own opinions and thoughts, but remember one thing: whether this person or that person's right or wrong, the one thing is the book of heaven is never wrong, ever, never, ever, ever, ever been wrong. Because see, a lot of times people forget, is that you know we have to take a self examination of ourselves. Look what's going on around us. There are many signs. Next time when I can get back up on live again, we can talk about a little more in depth on aliens, UFOs, and the events and stuff, the things going on all around, like what do they call that, CERN, and all these other things. We could take a look into that. Okay, and I want to say, Wado, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching and listening. And if you feel like it, please share it. This, I'm not a great speaker. Never have been. Don't proclaim to be. I'm just me. And remember one thing: the time is coming where we have to make a stand. The right choice, life or death. Because when your faith is really put to the test, as in, because it will come. Trust me on that. It will come, because it says it in the book of heaven. It will happen that you will have to make a choice. Give your life up for Him, literally, which that could be torture or anything, but still holding on to Him, or you can choose the other route, life or death, life or death, you know. So we're not forced into anything. None of us are. I can't make you do anything or force anything on you, and no one else can unless you allow it. But the thing is, each one has to make our own decisions, right or wrong. Huh? Huh? Yeah. All right. Because yeah, I love you all, and I also want to say to you, I hope that you had a real good Thanksgiving. I didn't have anybody to come up on the panel tonight. But then again, I mean, there's a lot of live stream things going on, so I'm not the only one. But, this is a subject most people don't like to talk about. They really don't. They don't like talking about it. No, they might think I'm religious, and all this. Well, remember what I said about testing? For us all. But anyway, some people don't like this. They don't like talking about it. Or they're afraid to talk about it, or afraid to say something about it. And people are really afraid to, Ocio Misha. Ocio. Ocio, glad to have you. Glad to have you. Um, See, because we have uh, a lot of views and things, and it's okay. We have differences of opinions but we can talk. Because, somebody might have a better insight spiritually than than another person does, right? So it's also like we learn from one another. But we always, in doing so, we always got to know about our fruits and stuff, right? Yeah. But we've entered in that time where people don't want to talk about anything, especially about God, or about Yeshua. They don't want to talk about heaven or hell. They don't want to talk about salvation. They don't want to talk about that. They'd rather talk about anything else. Now, one time, I don't know, maybe one of those videos might still be up. That's why I leave them up. It's like a before and after. This is before. Yeah, that was before, and this is now. But where I think in one of my videos I did was about I didn't want anything on religion or politics, but but events and things like I mentioned, and stuff like hit me. I mean, or I hit it, come to like a brick wall, and got some sense knocked into me, so to speak. But anyway, I'm just sharing my thoughts and everything. And the next time I come on, and those of you who are watching, anytime you want to come up, I'll try to remember to drop a link. Or if not, say drop a link in the chat. Okay, and I will drop a link in, and you can come up on the panel, share your thoughts, your views of maybe something that you're aware of, that or maybe you've had a dream, or whatever. But to be able to share and talk and everything, discuss things, and take a look around us on what's really going on. Because I feel that that's more important than anything. Paranormal investigations, people that they do when they do those, okay. I kind of like got myself caught up in a little bit of that, but it's like when I got my answers and I seen, they're like, no, I don't want to have nothing to do with it anymore. Spirits exist, and I don't want to be inviting them. I don't want to be talking to the dead, because the dead can't help the living. I'd rather talk to the living, to the living one, the beautiful, great one, Yeshua, the Creator. I'd rather be speaking with Him. That's the only spirit, the only person I would rather talk to, as far as when it comes to my soul, my spirit, praying, and talking and communicating is that one. But as far as getting out and talking to spirits, not me. But I leave those videos up and everything to let you see that there is a before what was behind me and what is now and what will be ahead. Uh, I made my choice and I'm glad and I don't regret it. Because He is the only one. He is all and all. And that's the only thing that counts to me. That's right. Yep. You said it, Misha. Oh, oh, you got that right. Oh, and you know, people when I have friends, a lot of my friends that are into the paranormal, and I love them, and I still consider them my family. And I can't make decisions for them, you know, but I pray for each one of them, and and I'm not going to tell them not to be doing it. They got to learn. Each person, each one's got to learn for themselves what is true when it comes to your spirit. But I urge them to take a good look in the book of heaven, to take a good look in it, read it, and soak it in. And then they can take a look around them and then make the choice, good choice or a bad choice, to do something about their souls. Because that's bad. Bad stuff happens to people messing with that stuff. Bad, what was the old saying? Bad juju. Bad juju. You don't want to be messing with that. He is the only one. He is like, because one day we got to stand up before him and give an account of ourselves, and he's going to open books up and expose everything. The only way all that stuff that you've done that was bad and all, the only way that stuff's going to be only way it will be expunged from the books, the record, or whatever, is the blood of Yeshua, accepting it, being cleansed, and taking, because when He forgives. Some people say, I forgive you, and they really don't. But I can't tell nobody not to do anything, but I can tell them, please understand what the book of heaven says about all of this. Everything. Read it and understand we got to give account for ourselves. Now is the day of salvation, not yesterday or way back or 40, 50 years from now or 10 years, 5 years, 3 years or whatever. Yes, a whole. That absolutely, sister. A whole, sis. You said it, Misha. A whole. We have to give an account. So, you know, and on this channel, you know, I don't look to have thousands of subscribers. I don't. That's not my goal. It's great to have subscribers, people and views and things, because maybe one can reach somebody. Now I like singing. I don't claim to be a great singer. I'm not a great big old stage performer. Yay! No. But I love singing, especially songs that praises Him, and songs that will encourage somebody to take a look inside themselves and get it right between them and Him. Or sometimes I will sing songs maybe that old maybe an old folk songs or whatever, from days gone by, just to make somebody smile and remember, I remember those days, type things, to reminisce, to have, I love for people's spirits and their hearts to be lifted. I love to see smiles. Sometimes I like to get people to laugh. Sometimes I'll do a little comedy, especially with Grandpa Silas, But I love doing those things. But I do not have my heart to set on trying to be some bigwig on YouTube. I don't look to make money off of YouTube. You can't take it with you when you're gone. When you're gone from this life, you can't take all that with you. But, also, I may show uh, something when I'm able, because my health ain't the greatest, you know. But when I'm able, maybe to show and talk about little things about my chickens, you know, uh, give a little pointers or something, maybe on building something out in the woods, a temporary shelter. Maybe you're out hiking, bad weather, and all this. You need to do something because you ain't got your umbrella and it's real bad, or whatever. You got lost on what you need to do, and so when I get the chance, I'll show things related to that. But anyway, I appreciate every one of y'all. You know, uh, I love you. You're my friends. You're my family. You know, and my intention was not to preach, but to share and to give everyone else an opportunity to share their thoughts and how they view things and stuff. You always feel free to leave the comments below uh, and share. What your thoughts are on all these events that have taken place with the red heifers over in Israel and that supposed Messiah over and the miracles that he's doing. You know, I I can say this, that I believe that he is not the Antichrist, but in my heart, from what I see and hear, knowing what's in the book of heaven, I believe that man is the false prophet. And do I believe that the Antichrist will be Jewish? I believe he'll have some Jewish ancestry somewhere in his line. I mean, that's me. That's what I think. I can be wrong on that one. But y'all can share your thoughts on that. And again, I want to say thank you. I didn't mean to stay on here this long. Um, but don't be afraid when I come on live to come up on the panel. Don't be shy uh, about coming into the chat and asking, can I come up on the panel? Don't be shy about that. Want you up on there, I mean, yes, by all means. And the thing is, we can talk, chit chat, shoot the breeze. You know, it's a family after all. Friends and family talking and discussing, sharing. That's important. And now maybe from time to time I'll get my flute out and play a little bit. I don't have the lung power I used to. I could play for a long time. But I can play a little bit. I don't mind sharing on that. But tell your friends. Come on, subscribe. You can tell them a little bit about me. I'm just, I'm in my 60s, Cherokee, Shawnee, and I'm just a simple old dude. That's all. And I don't use big fancy words. I like things to be put simple. So that way there is no real bad misunderstanding on something. Uh, it's easy to get people confused when you use big fancy words, start talking over people's heads. No, I know how I feel when people do that to me. And I don't want to do that to you. And I have, like I said, friends that it's into paranormal investigating. I can say this because of what I used to do and what they're doing. Yes, they brought out evidence for those who don't believe that spirits do exist. However, people, when they get into that, after a while, however long a while is, they eventually end up having real bad things happen to them and happening in their lives, and they don't understand why. That's that's one of the reasons why. There may be other reasons involved that one don't know, but for that it's the obvious reason. And too many other testimonies out there, even the ones I don't, that are not, even those who are not my friends that's doing that, they end up having stuff like they go out to an old building somewhere or a house that's got demons and spirits in it, bad spirits, right? So guess what? They keep going to these places, and eventually those things follow them. They drag it into their homes. When they do the tarot cards, the Ouija boards and stuff, witch boards or whatever, they do that, and they drag and pull in that stuff. They invite it, and eventually some of them get possessed, or other, just bad things. It's like, no, I don't, because it started having that stuff happen in here because of that, and it's like, you know, and it's like now, see, I'm glad I don't have none of that stuff going on in here anymore, and I made my choice. Oh, what state? I'm in Arkansas. If you look at the map between Clinton, Arkansas, and Greenbrier, uh, kind of right in the middle, in a little small. If you can't really call it a town. A long time ago in the 1800s, it used to be a town, just a little rinky-dink place. They call it a little one-horse town, but all you got is a post office, a gas station, a couple of stations with little stores, like a convenient mart, kind of like that. But that's about it. It's a one-horse town, as they say. But but I love making, I love playing the flute. It always soothes me. It's calming. Like, you go to a river or a stream, and it's real quiet, and you just hear the babbling stream or brook or whatever, right? Or the river, right? And it's calming. I love listening, to nature. I love animals. I love people. Even if people are mean to me. Now, a long time back, not far back ago, should I say, people who was mean to me, I was one looking like, oh yeah, I'll give them one of these, but no, you know, He's the one that makes a difference. I forgive everyone that ever done anything wrong to me. I forgive them. And it's because I made my choices. And I choose to forgive. And because one thing, if we don't forgive, He's not going to forgive us. And it only makes sense. You know, that's like when we have pay it forward. You heard that expression, pay it forward, pay it forward. Helping one another in things, doing something for someone, and then that person, turns around and helps someone else, and on down like that, right? Well, I believe that you gotta forgive. Now, yeah, you'll remember the stuff that was done, but it kind of helps you learn not to make the same mistake. But you don't hold the grudge. You don't dwell on it. You remember it, but you don't hold the grudge. You just kind of keep it in the back of your mind, not out there where it's driving you insane, and all that. But I mean, you can understand why I say I'm just simple. Uh, we all make mistakes in life. Where no one's perfect, but we should strive to be, but not in the sense of, "Ooh, I'm better than you." No, but perfect with our our hearts, to being right with Him, and being right with others, even if they don't like us. Yeah, you get people who speak bad about us. Heck, I don't know. After this live stream, I'll probably lose some subscribers. But the thing is, I don't get mad at them, at anybody. Is that I made my decision. Now, once upon a time, I would have, but I don't believe in holding grudges, and stuff. I pray for people. I love them. Even those ones who are in the paranormal. They're my family and friends. I just don't do those things that they're doing anymore. Heck, I would just like to just go out and, if I'm feeling up to it, my body's saying, yeah, you can do it. I'd like to go out, like old places that's got a history that no one talks about, to check it out and, maybe film a little bit of it and try to find out what the history is of that place. Because people, they go in, they tear these old places down, and it's erased from history. But anyway, I mean, I like to do things but I like the positive. That's what, something that's good, and something that I can lift spirits up, and I can also give Him glory and praise, because He is everything. And I hope that someone that's hungry for something more in their life will come by and listen. You know, Um, yes, history is fun. I believe they are trying to change it to. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look what they're doing with the statues and stuff. They're wanting to try to erase history. Some of them are desecrating cemeteries, certain headstones and tombstones and stuff. Of people or soldiers that had died long ago. They're wanting to get rid of all of that. They want to get rid of get rid of history and invent something new. To rewrite it to fit their narrative. Oh, we could go a lot into that, right? Okay. Now you can also, I want to let everyone know, you can also go to my other channel. It's called Straight Up and Forward. That's it. Just straight up. That's the name of it. Straight up and forward. Now, on that one, I try to do a little bit more on like news, and then what's going on around in the world is reports and stuff, and also hopefully on that one, maybe a little on this one too, on survival tips. Maybe how to stretch. Especially since there's food shortages and stuff. Maybe a little tips on how to uh, you know have food when the stores or shelves are becoming bare, and stuff. How to have food, or maybe power's all out, on ways to have heat, which is important, and different things, of that nature. What to do if once, and it will come. I know that it will. I can't say if it's tomorrow or the next day, but the nuclear uh, missiles, missiles uh, hit. Uh, Depending on also the type of nukes, like tactical. Tactical nukes don't destroy a great huge area, smaller areas, but still got the radiation and all that. But things that one can do about on radiation sickness are try to prevent it first of all. And what happens though if by happenstance you get uh, uh, whatever amount of dose of radiation, on what you can do, considering in those circumstances, you're not going to have cell phone access to call an emergency unit and things like that. But the thing is, I want to stick with things that are positive. And people, will do things that's real negative there's certain YouTube channels, I mean, man, people love eat that up. That's sad. That's sad, on a sad testimony on the way humanity is. I mean, that's bad. But anyway, I want y'all all to know that I am praying for you. And I'm glad that you came in, Misha. Yeah. Oh. And I want to say, Wado. Thank you. Because the Creator, the great, beautiful one, He is awesome. If you don't know Him, get to know Him. Read the Gospel of John in the New Testament. This is a suggestion now. If you don't know Him, read the Gospel of John and read the book of Romans. Get to know Him. All right? Get to know Him. No, you're not. I mean, you will feel better inside your heart, and you're going to get rid of all your troubles in life. But it makes it easier and better, right? Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Wado. Wado to you. Oh, yeah. And come back again anytime. Would appreciate it. Love to hear from you. Oh, so everybody, I'm hoping that you will. I'm hoping that you will have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you, Wado, and aho.